Wrestling fans, you got the show here. Bigslamwrestling. We're here to talk about Global Wars, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling's co-promotion that occurred this past weekend in Canada. Myself, along with lots of fans out there, had big anticipations of what exactly this pay-per-view was going to be able to pull off and what it would achieve. And while it was not exactly what I had expected, in a good way, by the end of the show, things turned out to be a lot better than it started. And we're going to jump right into that. We had an opener with a prodigy, Michael Bennett, going up against ACH. Bennett with the lovely Maria Kanellis with him as always. Apparently he had a bum wheel with an injured knee, which kept this as a grounded match, which is not ACH's forte. And this was a very slow and just piss poor match in my opinion, and it was not the type of match I would have put on to start this show. I'll let you know down a little further who I would have put on for the beginning of this pay-per-view to get the crowd up and moving. But with this injury involved, I certainly wouldn't have chosen this one. Matter of fact, I probably wouldn't have had Bennett in the show at all had ACH go up against maybe Matt Hardy or somebody else like that, so we could have got some of that high-flying, insane action to jumpstart that crowd and get them pumped up. ACH got the win. Again, I'm giving this as like a 1.5 out of 5 stars for this match. Next up, we had, which for all intents and purposes, again was a letdown, as we had the unbreakable Michael Elgin, who next week, at the conclusion of the New Japan promotion, is going to be your main event star for Ring of Honor, going up against AJ Styles for the IWGP title. So I would think you wanted to push Michael Elgin a little more this week to get fans a little more heated up, a little more pumped up for this match, especially for those who may not be familiar with Elgin. He is not your typical Ring of Honor wrestler. He's about as big of a star as they have as far as size. He's not a tall guy, but he's just thick. He's what they would call built like a brick shit house. And he's a powerful man. And they put him up against a rookie, Tanaka Watanabe. Sure, I butchered that name some there, but he is a 3-year, fresh out of the dojo, New Japan wrestler. And this was an enhancement match for all intents and purposes. He was a jobber. He helped to make Elgin look good. Kid wasn't too bad. Elgin got to show off some of his power, doing his buckle bomb and ending the match with the 1-2-3 with the Elgin power bomb. And now this next match is the match that I would have started the show with, because finally here, this pay-per-view actually turned into something, because up to this point, I'll be honest, I was bored to death. But we wound up with a triple tag team extravaganza with Decade, BJ Whitmore, and Jimmy Jacobs going up against them boys, the Briscoes, Mark and Jay, and against Red Dragon, Kevin Riley and Bobby Fish. And this was the type of match you would expect from the tag team cavalcade put forth right here. I mean, this is the cream of the crop when it comes to Ring of Honor tag team wrestling. You mentioned tag team wrestling for Ring of Honor, and these 6 gentlemen are the ones that come to the forefront here in today's Ring of Honor, and they did not disappoint. Red Dragon is one of my favorite tag teams in the industry right now. Bobby Fish is a phenomenal athlete. O'Reilly is turning out to be quite as a good tag team partner. I don't think he's a singles guy, where Fish down the road is going to be that singles competitor. The Briscoes are what the Briscoes always are. Them boys is out of mind with the redneck kung fu and all the crazy out of this ape shit, crazy shit that they could have off in a match. And boy, they poured it on and beat the living hell out of everybody in this match. Decade, BJ Whitmore, Jimmy Jacobs, I'm not big fans of either one of these guys. I never really have been. They are competent wrestlers. They are Ring of Honor alumni of, they're just Ring of Honor. Christ, I don't know. There's a reason why they've been there for a decade and ain't went nowhere else. It's because nobody else will take them. There, I said it. That's right, I said it. They're not good enough to make it in the WWE. They're not good enough to get signed and picked up and make it in TNA. And Ring of Honor fans will boo and hiss, and sure, you're throwing shit right now when I said that, but there's a reason why they've been there for 10 years. This match was about a 3.5 out of 5. Briscoes did it all and pulled out a finisher they haven't done in quite some time, the Doomsday Device. Boom, on Jimmy Jacobs, I believe it was. And it was 1, 2, 3. Them boys took the win. And this, again, was the kind of match that I like to see start out any kind of card, especially a pay-per-view, that gets the crowd jumping. Not like these other two matches, which for intents and purposes of my end were piss breaks. And that's bad right from the beginning. Up next, we had another match. Now it slows back down again. Got Cedric Alexander going up against Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong on paper and in the ring is a very, very good wrestler. He is an excellent scientific and a grappler. But he just doesn't have it. That's right, he don't have that it factor. He just doesn't have the charisma. And it's a shame because the guy's been in the business since he was 16 years old. And he can go with anybody. But he just doesn't bring that excitement. And to me, he just can't seem to tell a good story in the ring. Alexander is a youngster. He's got definite potential. And the reward has been going back and forth between them over the use of the backbreaker, with Roddy being the messiah, the backbreaker and whatnot, and Alexander having the balls to actually use that finisher is what's culminated in this feud. We wound up with Cedric winning the match, which was surprising, and I'll give this a 2.5 out of 5 star match because it was a good match. It just didn't have me excited. Now we want to talk exciting. This is where we get into the cream of the crop. This is where we get to what the money was worth and what everybody came to see. And if you didn't know and haven't been watching New Japan Pro Wrestling and got to see the Gaijin, that's us barbarians to the Japan. If you don't know, these are the guys that have been tearing it up over there in Japan. We had the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, going up against Forever Hooligans, Alex Kozlov and Rocky Romero up against the Time Splitters. Yes, Alex Shelley was back in Ring of Honor after so many years, and the crowd was pumped to have him back with his partner, Kushida. If you have not seen Kushida in the ring, you are missing one of the greatest young talents in the business today. Kushida is the man. And Alex Shelley and Kushida as the time splitters. As much as I love the Motor City Machine Guns, I say the time splitters had them boys beat. And they are going to do huge things in Japan. And if they were lucky enough to come stateside and get signed by one of the big boys, that would even be oh so much better. But I'm sure that won't be the case. This is the kind of match that you can't call. I can't tell you what happened. These guys do so many insane, high-flying moves, super kicks, over-the-top rope flips, amazing, magical, just beautiful wrestling. High-flying, spot monkey fest. You call it what you want. What I call it is action and satisfaction. And these guys lit this motherfucker up. This crowd went in fucking sane. And I didn't want this match to end. This match could have went on for an hour and a half and been it. And I'd have been pleased as all hell. What we wound up with, in case you didn't know, because I didn't tell you, this was for the junior IWGP tag team belts. Now, Young Bucks also are the Ring of Honor tag team champions, along with some other tag team gold they have. And they'll be defending the Ring of Honor tag team titles next week in New York City. Here tonight, they won the IWGP belts with more bang for your buck. Boom. Boy, I just about had it gone, and this was a 5-star match. If I ever seen one. 5 stars indeed. Now we had the intermission. Had this new guy come out there. Don't remember his name. R.W. Anderson or R.W. something. He's a comedy actor. He's on his own streak of pinning referees. This is something that I believe the WWE did sometime back with Santino. It was amusing for what it was, but this was just to get us ready for the next insane match. And we had New Japan representing big time. We had Tanahashi and the legendary Jushin Thunder Liger going up against the team of Chaos members Jado and Nakamura. And Nakamura in New Japan out of Chaos, he's my favorite. That guy is a sick, twisted bastard. He was not always like this, but he is, I don't know, he's like a evil, twisted Japanese heartbreak kid mixed into some deviant shit. I don't know, he just oozes fucking sleaze, man, but he is fucking awesome. And these 4 guys tore this son of a bitch up. Now you gotta remember, Jushin Thunder Liger's 49 years old. I remember seeing his debut against Brian Pillman. That was over 20 years ago. He was able to pull off and do everything that Thunder Liger is used to doing. Being it was a tag team match, they were able to compensate for some of his weaknesses, but he pulled it off and the crowd was eating it up. And Tanahashi, with that frog splash of his, pinned Jado. And your winners, Tanahashi and Jushin Thunder Liger. Now, up next we had a Ring of Honor match again. It was a TV Championship 4-man corner survival match. Jay Lethal, Matt Tavern, Tommaso Ciampa, and Silas Young, the last real man. And this was a good, hard-hitting, high-flying, give-it-all Ring of Honor match. The kind that you always hear about Ring of Honor producing And with Jay Lethal turning heel and having Truth Martini in his corner, it's just made it oh so much sweeter. And this was a good match. Hard hitting from this, I'll tell you, Silas Young, if you haven't seen him yet, he is a throwback with his look and his attitude, but he is badass. And Matt Tavern is always as good as he is, what he does, and Jay Lethal doing what he does, and Ciampa, was just a monster. But Jay Lethal won this with a lethal injection, and I'm giving this, even as great as it sounded, I'm only giving it a 3 out of 5 because it was not perfect. Next up, we had the Bullet Club members. IWGP champion AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, with Machine Gun Carl Anderson going up against Chaos members Gata and the Rainmaker Okada. And this crowd popped for Okada. Insane. And they had a lot of heat going on AJ Styles. I guess they're not happy with him being a heel, and also for the fact that he was in TNA and had left Ring of Honor, and that still leaves a sour taste in their mouth. But irregardless, the four of these guys tore this son of a bitch up. 5-star match from beginning to end, just leaving me dying to see Okada and AJ go at it again for the title down the road. It was, I always love to see Carl Anderson, doesn't matter who he's with. He's a guy that should have been huge here in the States, but you know what? He's a superstar in Japan, and he lives like a king over there, like a rock star. Hell, would it stay there, Carl, and be the man, because you are. Whether it was Big Bernard, you got Doc Gallows with you now, and any member of the Bullet Club with you. This match was won by the Bullet Club, as Okada was held back and unable to do anything because it was Bullet Club business. And AJ did it. Styles clash. Boom. 1, 2, 3. And the main event was a phenomenal, kick-ass, barn burner of a match. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm giving it 5 out of 5 stars. It was that perfect. The storytelling was awesome. We had Kevin Steen going up against Adam Cole for the Ring of Honor World title. I like Adam Cole a lot. For a little guy, he's proven to the world that, along with the likes of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, that you don't have to be 6'5" and a 260-pound monster to be the champion. But boy, did he get his clock cleaned in this match. Kevin Steen beat the living hell out of this guy. All 4 corners thrown in for nut shots. He got power bombed on all 4 aprons. They just beat the hell out of this guy, and unbelievably enough, out of it at the last split second, Cole managed to roll and pin him up, and he got the win. Steen had been injured with his knee, but it's a match that needs to be seen. It was a perfect ending to a pay-per-view that started out really slow and wound up being one of the best Ring of Honor pay-per-views I've seen in quite a number of years. So that's all I got to say about this Ring of Honor match. I'm looking forward to the one in New York City at the Hammerstein next week. I'll see you down the road, and we'll talk about that card next week.